This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. Well, we got some breaking news out of the Commonwealth of Virginia. As everybody knows, we have been covering these races very closely, and we had a bunch of polls drop just today, and holy crap, the Republican surge is not only real, but at least for one of the elections in Virginia, it's accelerating. Now, let's be clear about one thing. I am not saying Republicans are going to have a red tsunami and flip every single seat. Far from it, in fact. I still think at the end of the day, Democrats are the favorites for the governorship. I think at the end of the day, Winsome Sears, she will lose. But even then, look at this poll from Quantus Insights. One of the best pollsters out there. They know what they're doing. They finally dropped a new Virginia poll. And Winsome Sears, she is losing, but not by 15 points, not by 20. According to Quantus Insights, Winsome Sears is down by only 5%. She is currently at 46% of the vote. And Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat, she did finally crack 50%, which is huge because, mathematically speaking, if you crack 50% of the vote, it's over. You're going to win no matter what happens. That's just basic math. But at the same time, you're only up by 5. Abigail Spanberger was supposed to be this extremely strong candidate. She's going to win by 35 points. And Winsome Sears is a very weak candidate. So for this race to be within 5 now, which, you know, there is a chance Spanberger does win by a decent margin, by like 10 points or whatever, that's entirely possible. But right now, Quantus Insights is finding, no, we're not going to see this D plus 20 victory. Right now, it's looking like there is a chance that Abigail Spanberger underperforms Harris in Virginia, which already, Harris had a pathetic showing in Virginia last year, and Spanberger is supposed to be a far stronger candidate. She is. And this is supposed to be a blue wave? Yeah, she's probably going to win, but you're going to win by maybe 5 points, if not by like 4. That is absolutely pathetic. That's a pathetic showing for Democrats. And even if they win by 4, 5, or even 6, if you're the Democrat Party, you should not be celebrating that. It's like, it's Virginia. This is supposed to be a blue wave, and the best you can do is a 5-point victory. But it's not just that. Look, Lieutenant Governor John Reed is down by only 4, and the Democrats only have 49%. So there is time for Republicans to potentially pull off the upset there. And of course, the AG race, if I'm being completely honest here, I think this race is done. I know it's early. A lot could happen the next 2 weeks. I get that. But Jay Jones, he's not going to win. He is down to 42% of the vote, according to Quantus Insights. And Jason Miraz, he's at 49%. So Miraz up by 7 with like 2 weeks to go. And a lot of these undecideds, I doubt they're going to vote for Jay Jones. They're just not going to. So right now, Jason Miraz has the largest lead of all 3 of the candidates for Lieutenant Governor, Governor, and AG. By far, the largest lead. Spanberger's only up by 5, which I know the Jay Jones scandal is very unique. I get that. But this should tell you that this is not going to be a blue wave. Because even if Democrats win the governorship and lieutenant governor, they lost the AG race. And more than likely by a landslide margin, at least for Virginia standards. These races are usually very close, and they're in line with each other. Not a 10-point difference, which that's what it looks like is going to happen. Jason Miraz is outrunning Sears margin-wise by 10 to 15 points, which at that point, Spanberger has to win by 10 to 15 points just for Jay Jones to maybe have a chance. Yeah, if I'm being honest here, I think this race is done. For AG, it's over. Miraz, more than likely, will win re-election by a, relatively speaking, safe margin. Now, could it be closer than expected? Sure. Could Jay Jones maybe pull off the upset of the century? Maybe. But the early voting, which I don't got pulled up here, is not looking good for Dems at all. I mean, it's not looking like a blue wave environment whatsoever. In fact, you could argue it's actually looking more Republican than 2024, which if that's the case, Winsome Sears, she might actually go within 5 points. And maybe John Reed could pull off the upset for lieutenant governor. At that point, that's not a blue wave. That is, you could argue, actually a Republican wave in some circumstances where Republicans actually did way better than expected. They did way better in Virginia. And it's not just Qantas Insights, because some people might say, well, it's only Qantas Insights or a far-right pollster, even though they're a good one. Look at the other polls that dropped. Look at VCU. They finally dropped the new poll, and look at that. Jason Mraz, he's up by 3. It's a 9-point shift in 1 month, or like 2 weeks or whatever. A 9-point shift. And Jay Jones, again, he's at 42%. And VCU, you look at their polls, look at this. For lieutenant governor, the Democrat is going down. John Reed is slowly going up. Same thing with the AG for obvious reasons. Mraz, he is surging. And Jay Jones, he is crashing and burning. In September, Jones up by 6, 47%. Now he's on to 42%. But even for governor, Spanberger, in this pollster, she can't crack 50%. She is stuck at 49%, while Sears, she is slowly but surely going up and up and up. Does that mean she's going to win? No. But the point is, VCU is tracking these races, and they're showing Democrats they're either stagnating or they're just in complete collapse mode. But guess what? This wasn't even the only 2 polls that dropped today out of Virginia, because already this is looking bad. When you got Qantas Insights, a good pollster showing this, when you're showing a consistent trend like VCU, showing Democrats are imploding for AG, potentially for lieutenant governor, which Republicans have spent no money in, by the way. If they win that race, that would be absolutely pathetic and hilarious. And maybe the governorship, in a best case scenario, could maybe flip. But guess what? These polls are not the only ones that dropped today. There was a third that dropped from a Democrat pollster. So this is a Democrat affiliate. Clarity Campaign. This was commissioned by the Democratic Attorney General Association. Okay? So already you could tell this is going to be biased as hell. Well, look at AG. In a Democrat-sponsored poll, a poll commissioned by the Democrat AG Association, Jason Mraz is winning. I'm sorry, he's quote-unquote tied. But you look at the numbers, apparently they actually have Mraz with a slight lead. This is a Democrat pollster commissioned by the Democrat AG Association that dropped today, and they can't even get Jay Jones with a lead. They can show a tied race. For lieutenant governor, Reed's down by only 4. As for governor, though, and this is the interesting part, Sears is down by 10, and Spanberger is at 53%. But this is the only pollster that found Spanberger up by this much in the last couple of weeks, and she's at 53%. Which, it makes sense, you know, if Sears does lose by 10, yeah, the AG race could probably be a lot closer. But if we're assuming Mraz wins by 4, 5, maybe 6 points, which we don't know for sure, maybe it is closer, but I would have to guess that right now Mraz wins by 4 or 5, we'll see. But if that happens, and this pulls off by 4 or 5 points towards Democrats, do the math. That would mean Sears would be within 5, which, yeah, that's still a defeat, but not by 15 or 20 points like it should be. And for lieutenant governor, do the math. John Reed would win in that scenario. We officially have a ball game in Virginia, at least for lieutenant governor and maybe for governor. The fact that we're even talking about these 2 races at all is not good for Dems whatsoever, but this is what they get. All they had to do was distance themselves away from Jay Jones. They had to say he should drop out of the race, seek help, whatever. That's all they had to do. Like, after that scandal broke, it was over. There was no way you're going to win that after that. But the Democrat Party is so delusional. They're batshit crazy. They have to win every election no matter what. So they're saying, hell yes to Jay Jones. We want him to win. It's like, what are you doing? You aren't going to win those races at all. Now, you're running the risk of potentially getting swept, which I'm not saying it's going to happen. But we're going to a point where it's a possibility. And what's going to happen in the state legislature? What's going to happen there? Democrats probably get the majority, but you got to be very careful because if Sears wins, Republicans could get a majority in Virginia and potentially trifecta, which, again, not saying that's going to happen for sure, but we got to seriously start discussing that. Like, if Democrats keep the shit up, there's 2 weeks to go. Anything can happen. And Democrats, their campaigns suck. It's gotten so bad that they have to beg Obama to do a rally for them. Yeah, on the last day of the campaign, they have Obama doing a rally in the Hampton Roads. Gee, I wonder why. It's because their turnout sucks. It's not looking like a blue wave at all. And they're realizing the scandal was so bad, and they've handled it even worse. They made it worse for themselves by not immediately condemning it. Now, a real condemnation, not just saying, oh, he said mean stuff. No. If they would have said he should have dropped out, we do not support his cause, we hope he loses, this could have been completely avoided. But no, they couldn't help themselves. And now they're running a serious risk of losing Virginia again. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. Anything can happen, but it really seems like in the last couple of weeks, the Republicans up and down the ballot, they have gained serious momentum. They have wins to their back, and it might be enough. I don't know for sure. We're at that point where if you're at the Democrat Party, you cannot like these numbers at all. Whether it's early voting, whether it's the new polling numbers, everything is looking like Republicans have gained momentum at the right time. But again, anything can happen. This is a midterm election, well, off-year election, and turnout can be a little bit strange. But right now, based on everything we're seeing, Democrats might start panicking a little bit. In fact, they already are. They had to beg Obama to do a rally in Virginia. That usually does not happen unless they know they have a serious problem, especially with turnout. It's like, wow, people are not excited to vote for the Democrat ticket? Gee, I wonder why. Your AG candidate wants to kill people. I wonder why people don't want to vote for that. The average person does not want to support that shit. But Democrats, they're so delusional, they just can't help themselves. So, yeah, the fact that Virginia is this close still, which we all thought was maybe a fluke in 21, it's unbelievable. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.